All right, let's talk compact SUVs. I mean, you see them everywhere, but when it comes time to actually spend your own money, which one should you choose? Today, we're putting two heavyweights head-to-head, the legendary 2026 Honda CR-V versus the very stylish 2026 Nissan Rogue. This is going to be fun. So in one corner, you have the Honda CR-V. It's the champion, right? The one everybody knows is just dependable and solid. And in the other corner, you have the Nissan Rogue, a real challenger bringing some serious style, a punchy engine, and a whole lot of modern tech. Both are at the top of their game, but which one is actually the better buy for you? So here's how we're going to break it all down. We're going to have a few key rounds. First, we'll talk about the drive itself, what it's like behind the wheel. Then we're going to get serious and look at the crash test numbers. And finally, we'll dig into what each one is really going to cost you over the long run. Let's get into it. And here we go. Round one, the drive. This is where the rubber meets the road, quite literally. We're going to pop the hood, see what these machines are packing, and talk about how that power actually feels when you put your foot down. We're talking engines, acceleration, and of course, fuel economy.
Okay, right out of the gate, the Rogue comes out swinging. It's got this really cool 1.5-liter variable compression turbo engine. It's a clever piece of tech that basically changes its own shape to give you either more power or better efficiency. And the numbers, well, they don't lie. 201 horsepower and a really impressive 225 pound-feet of torque. That's a lot of grunt, and it easily tops the CR-V's standard engine. But hold on a second. Don't go crowning the Rogue just yet. See, Honda has a little secret weapon, a real ace up its sleeve. And that's the incredibly popular hybrid model, which, well, it completely flips the script.
And here is that ace. The CR-V Hybrid bumps the horsepower up to 204, just edging out the Rogue. But that's not the real story here. The headline is the torque. We're talking a massive 247 pound-feet thanks to those electric motors. That is a huge number, and it leaves the Rogue's torque figure way behind.
So we've thrown a bunch of numbers at you, horsepower, torque, but what does that actually feel like? You know, when you need to merge onto a busy highway or get past a slow truck, which one actually gets up and goes? Well, the answer might surprise you.
And this is where that hybrid advantage becomes crystal clear. According to tests from Consumer Reports, the CR-V Hybrid is just plain quicker. It's almost a full second faster from 0 to 60. And that passing speed, a crucial half-second quicker. That may not sound like a lot on paper, but trust me, you feel that difference on the road.
Now, what about sipping fuel? Well, the CR-V Hybrid is in a league of its own, especially around town, where it gets an incredible 43 miles per gallon. But if we're just comparing the standard gas engines, the Rogue actually holds a slight advantage over the base CR-V.
Okay, time to shift gears. Let's move to round two, the crash test. Performance is fun, but for a family SUV, nothing, and I mean nothing, is more important than how it protects you. So now we're going to look at the cold, hard data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
In a 35-mile-per-hour head-on crash, the results are, well, they're stark. The CR-V gets a top 5-star rating for driver protection. The Rogue gets 4. But the figure that really stands out to me is neck stress. The crash dummy in the CR-V experienced 181 pounds of force. In the Rogue, a shocking 403 pounds. That is more than double the force on your neck, which points to a much higher risk of injury.
So, what's behind that big difference? A lot of it comes down to smarter tech. The CR-V has smart airbags that can actually adjust how hard they inflate based on how big a passenger is. And get this, the side airbags can decide not to go off if a sensor detects a child is leaning against the door. The Rogue system, on the other hand, just deploys at full force every time. In side impact tests, both SUVs get a 5-star rating, which is great to see, but the details, they tell a very different story. The head injury criterion, which basically measures the likelihood of a head injury, is more than twice as high for a rear passenger in the Rogue. The CR-V's much lower score shows a significantly higher level of protection. And this data highlights another key safety advantage. Government analysis shows the Honda CR-V is about 2.4% less likely to roll over than the Nissan Rogue. And in an SUV where your center of gravity is naturally higher, that small percentage can make a really big difference in an emergency.
All right, on to our final round, the long haul. Because buying the car is just the beginning, right? We need to look past the sticker price and see which of these SUVs is going to be a more affordable and dependable partner for years to come.
Now, on the surface, this looks like a dead heat. Both the CR-V and the Rogue earn an identical and pretty decent good reliability score of 74 out of 100.
But you know there's more to the story. That top line number doesn't tell you the whole picture. We need to dig a little deeper to see what that score actually means for your day-to-day running costs, and more importantly, the risk of a major wallet-busting repair bill.
So when we look at the estimated annual maintenance and repair costs, a little gap starts to appear. For the Honda CR-V, you're looking at a very reasonable $407 per year.
The Nissan Rogue, on the other hand, is estimated to cost about $467 a year. Now, $60 a year might not sound like a deal breaker, but hey, over 5 years of ownership, that's an extra $300 that's come out of your pocket.
But here's where the difference gets a lot more significant, I think. The data shows the CR-V has about a 9% chance of needing a major repair. We're talking something expensive. The Rogue's risk is higher at 12%. That 3% difference could be the thing that saves you from a really, really bad day at the mechanic.
Okay, we've analyzed the drive, we've looked at the crash tests, and we've crunched the numbers on long-term costs. Let's bring it all together and recap the scorecard to help you make the final decision between these two fantastic SUVs.
So how does it all shake out? Well, you should probably go with the Honda CR-V if you prioritize superior safety, and the crash tests are pretty clear on that, along with lower long-term repair costs. Plus, that hybrid model gives you a great mix of power and amazing fuel economy. But you might choose the Nissan Rogue if you really want that punchy torque from the standard engine, and you value things like its advanced cabin tech and those super comfortable zero-gravity seats.
So, which co-pilot is the right one for you? Is it the safe, sensible, and surprisingly quick CR-V? Or is it the stylish, punchy, and tech-forward Rogue? The data seems to point to one being a bit safer and a better long-term value. But at the end of the day, only you can decide which of these champions you want to park in your driveway. Which one would you pick?